Hi, Felicia. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, and oracle card advisor. How are you today? So, sorry for the delay, but I've had a lot of readings before you, so I'm usually booked up for at least a week, sometimes 2 weeks ahead. So let's get to talking to your dad. Let's see what he's got to say. Let me look at something here. So for my first time people, while we're getting tuned in here with him, I see, I hear, I feel, I know, I sense, I have most of the senses. I get a little taste and smell sometimes. A lot of times they'll show me pictures and I need to describe the picture to you, and I call it spiritual charades, and I have to describe it well enough to let you understand why he's showing this picture. They never waste a message. They don't waste their energy. There's always a reason, and if you don't understand it at this time, write it down, keep it in mind. You might remember it later, or you might see it tomorrow, or somebody will confirm it for you. They'll validate it for you. And I just did one like that where two other people said, "Oh, but I get that," and you know, sometimes they sneak in messages for somebody else too. So don't, and I stink at names, so if I throw out a name, which I don't know why we keep doing this, because I get the names wrong and I don't understand why. So just think outside the box a little bit. It's usually at least the first letter of that name. It is what it is, and we can't seem to change it right now for some reason. So let's see. Oh, he's tinkering. He's tinkering with older cars. He says junk cars. He's tinkering with junk cars. He seems to have several of them. And it's kind of like somebody I know has several of them, and most of them don't run, and they all maybe need one part, but we never seem to get around to getting that one part for all of them, if that makes sense. It's kind of like, oh, we'll tinker with this one a little bit, and then he looks over there and sees that other one. It's kind of like, oh, squirrel, let's go do something with that one. We're not done with this one. Said he didn't like suits and ties. He wasn't that kind of person. We're going to let him talk for a minute. They always tell you what you need to hear, not always what you want to hear, what you need to hear. So I know you had a bunch of questions, so we'll see if we can get to some of those. You mentioned your son, and he's shown me with a very young boy, and he's patting him on the head. He's patting him on the head, and the little boy turns around and looks up at him. Now when they show me this and they do this, that means your son sees him. Your son is interacting with him. Your son knows he's there. Kids, little bitty kids and animals, they can see them, they can sense them. Then when we get a little older, society poo-poos it, so then we all kind of shut it down. At some point he's told you that he's seen him, that he's seen Grandpa, or he's pointing and saying something that's maybe even when he was younger that sounded like Papa or something like that. And they're totally innocent, and they totally know, they totally see it. So go back and think of some of those times when you kind of thought, no, yeah, he was interacting with him. Your grandpa used to come in and play with him. He's showing, I don't know how old your son is because I don't like to look at anybody's Facebook page before I do a reading, but he's showing like when he was little in a crib, and he would keep throwing he had a big stuffed rabbit, big fuzzy furry stuffed rabbit, and he would throw it out of his bed, and your dad would put it back up in the bed, and then he would throw it back out. It was a game that they played. So even though he wasn't here I'm stuttering again. Even though the age that he's showing me, your son wasn't big enough to talk, he was still pointing, and you could hear him when you were in the other room and nobody else was in the bedroom with your son, and you could hear him jabbering like he was talking to somebody, because he was. And he still sees him off and on. Not as much. Okay, he's showing me your path. Like, here's your path, and there's like this big boulder over here, over just right to the side of it, and I don't know if you're going around the boulder or you already went around the boulder. Let's see if we can. You've already gone around the boulder, then you got back on your path. Now you're starting to veer off a little bit again. And sometimes these are just detours. Sometimes sometimes there's that little detour and you kind of veer off, and then you have to experience certain things, and then you get back on. You've learned that lesson or whatever that is that you had to go through that taught you something. Then you get back on. You're starting to go off a little bit again. It doesn't feel really bad. And he's just showing me that. He's not showing me any further. And I don't make predictions. I'm not into predicting you're going to have 3 goats and 2 dogs and 1 child in your life. I don't do that, but he did show me that. He says your brother. Not so much. He says he needs a good hard shove to get back on his path. That he's not paying attention. That he's actually trying to shove him back on his path. And he's not paying attention. There are angels and guides and himself and other loved ones that are trying to talk to him in his dreams. I don't know if he's going to remember these dreams though or not. He says he should remember 2 of them. He's not paying attention. He says, I was kind of an asshole in life. I was kind of selfish. I was kind of like, I don't give a fuck. I didn't need the finer things in life. I cheated a little bit to get some of the things that I did get. There were times I was very rude and very unpleasant to people that I loved. And I am sorry for that now. I am apologizing for it. So he's trying to make amends to some of these people in another way. Now that he's there, he can do things differently. He says, you're not going to believe this coming out of my mouth, but I'm trying to bring blessings to some of these people to right my wrong. Because now I can see the goodness in their heart that I couldn't see before, and I really didn't care about seeing. He's mentioning a cat. It looks mostly white, but it's got some black or color on its head, and he's distinctly showing its tail. And it looks like the cat's kind of white, but the tail looks black or dark colored, and it looks like it has rings around, like white rings. And he's acknowledging this cat. I don't know, hang on. I don't know where he's going to show me something next. He says you should be a beauty queen. That you should be in a castle. That you should be waited on hand and foot. That he puts you on a pedestal. He says, I know I didn't treat you that way, but this is how I think of you. That nobody is good enough for you in my eyes. And you need to make sure that you're treated like the queen that you are. Don't take any shit off anybody. Make sure, demand, he says, demand, he says it very loudly, that you are treated like a queen. Because that's your right and you deserve it. He's showing me an airplane. I don't know why, unless he's going to explain. Sometimes they just throw out a picture or a word or something and I still have to say it. Sorry, I wandered off. I don't usually do that, but I wandered off. Um, yes, I knew the lifestyle I was living was not a healthy lifestyle. And I knew it was bad for me, and I knew I might be my own worst enemy as far as my health. But I was bullheaded, and I was going to do whatever the hell I wanted to do. And he says he's sorry for that, and he doesn't want you to follow his example, as far as he's talking as far as like eating habits or smoking, drinking, whatever his habits were. He doesn't want you to follow those. The unhealthy to your body habits is what he's talking about. Okay, he's showing when he left, there was a big hubbub around him. But there was also people waiting for him, and he saw them. One was a grandmother type figure. She has a rolling pin in her hands, which a lot of times that means that she liked to cook, but most grandmothers did back then. That's what they did. But she's also saying she's not afraid to bop you over the head with it. So to think about which grandmother would be like that. He's showing, I don't think I've ever seen this before. He's showing a really dark colored horse that was waiting for him on the other side. So at some point in his life, he either owned this horse and loved it, or somebody had this horse that he really had an attachment to. And you may not even know about it, but he's making a big point of showing it. There's also a very young girl in a very pretty dress with flowers on it. She's got a little bonnet, little like straw hat, fancy. This is looks like an Easter dress outfit. I mean, it's that fancy, or something you would wear in a wedding. I don't want to guess ages, but she's don't hold me to the age, between 5 and 7, 4 and 8, somewhere in there. I can't tell. She's got long dark hair, and she's holding I believe it's a stuffed sheep. I can't tell for sure. And she's holding the hand of a lady who's very slim, in her 20s or so. Very slim, dressed very prim. I shouldn't say prim and proper. Her clothes are immaculate, no wrinkles, a straight, smooth skirt, a straight, plain blouse. She's got dark hair, and her hairstyle and the clothes she's wearing, I would say, come from the 50s. At least the 50s. Or maybe even a little bit before. So she's connected with this little girl. These are the people that he saw waiting for him. I'm not getting the connection. Usually I can tell if it's a grandmother, aunt, uncle, whatever type figure. I'm not getting a connection with the lady and the little girl. There's a man too, but he's not coming through well enough. So, so just want to acknowledge that there was a man there. He says that you get a smell every so often that reminds you of him. He sends this. It's a boy, it's more like, what kind of a smell is that? It's more like, well, he said he worked on cars. It's more that kind of smell. It's more like diesel fuel or gasoline or motor oil or some kind of smell like that. When you get a whiff of that, that's him letting you know that he's around. He says, I'm not going to let anybody bully you. I'm asking him something. Hang on. Well, I don't ever see these curtain shades anymore. The one he's showing me, I don't ever see these anymore. So I don't know that you would have one of these in your house, but this is what he's showing me. So maybe it's just something that compares to it. It's the kind that we used to have, and they were on a roller, and they weren't really made out of paper, but they weren't plastic blinds. They weren't the louver blinds. It's solid. Usually all of them that I know of, I think, were kind of a off-white, and you pulled it down, and it was a solid, I don't want to say paper, it's not paper, but it's, I don't know what kind of material to call it. Anyway, so you pull it down from this roller, and then when you wanted to send it up, you kind of pulled on it, kind of gave it a little tug, and then it would roll back up. If you let go of it, it would go psh. These are from way back. He's showing that he's messing with this. I don't know if you have something comparable to this in your house. Maybe somebody you know. Maybe this is a message for somebody you know. And he's messing with this, and he makes it keep going back up. It won't stay down. And he thinks that's funny. You're going to have dirt appear in your house like would come off of his work boots. That even when nobody else is walking in with dirty work boots, you're going to find that kind of dirt, and you're going to go, well, who did this now? And I don't know how old your kids are. You may even yell at them, who brought the dirt in the house? He's doing that. he's he he's showing again he definitely interacts with your son. He started to say something, now it's gone. I missed it. He's gonna have to repeat it. He says to not let people intentionally hurt you like he did to other people. He said don't follow that pattern. He says, sorry, didn't move my phone. I don't move my phone because my mother's older and I'm always afraid. I don't know how you do what you do. Just telemarketer. I'm so in love with you. He has whispered in your ear when you're asleep. Now, this could be, it looks like he's showing that you're actually asleep. But he has whispered in your ear since he's been gone. Sometimes it's like in that la la land, you know, when you first start to fall asleep and you're just almost there but not quite there, that little spot there. A lot of times you'll get it right there. Sometimes you'll get the dreams. And he's showing your left ear. So a lot of times you'll get tingling, or your ear will get really warm, or it'll feel like a hair touching your ear, or a little wisp of air, and you might hear pss, 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 pss. If you don't hear the words, he's trying to tell you that he loves you, princess. His princess turned into a queen. And he's trying to tell you you're going to be all right. It'll be okay. He says, don't get lost in other people's stuff. Remember to honor yourself first. Don't get lost in their drama and their stuff. Do what you need to do for you. Now he says, catch me if you can. Catch me if you can. I don't know what that means. He says you might still be a princess, but you don't need a castle to be happy. As long as you're happy with you. He's learned a lot of stuff since he left. He's learned a lot of stuff. And he feels like he's a better person for it. He's shown a rope swing in a tree, and he showed some kind of a little scooter. So these are memories that he's remembering of you when you were, things you had around your house when you were younger. He loves you. He says, bottom line, no bullshit. I love you, and always did, even when I didn't show it. Even when I didn't make the attempts to be in the places and do the things that I should have done for you, bottom line, I loved you. And he says, I never meant to be an asshole to you. And he calls you princess again. He says, twiddly-dee, twiddly-dum. No clue. I just have to throw out whatever he says. Don't think I've deserted you, because that's far from the truth. And I tell every single person that I talk to them. They can hear you. They absolutely can hear you. Also, something about some kind of a smoke smell, but it's more like a cigar or a pipe or something. It doesn't seem to be a cigarette. Not 100% sure. He says he's getting ready to walk off. So there's a birthday coming real soon that he's acknowledging, and he will be there. So somewhere in that day, what if there's a party or whatever, he will be there, and there will be a sign. He's not showing me what the sign is. Something's gonna fall. Somebody's gonna fall out of a chair. I'm not sure. Show me something falling. I have no idea what that means. But he's going to try to let you know that he's there. Not sure that you'll recognize the sign. I don't. He's not showing it clear enough. I'm sorry. But he will be there. He says you're all grown up. And he couldn't ask for anything better. He's proud of you. He's proud of the person you are. He wants me to remind you that path, whatever it is you're doing right now is a little bit off your path. You kind of got to scoot back on. So whatever you were doing before, and I don't know how long ago before, he wants you to kind of veer back in there. He's making a point of saying that before we leave. He's hey, see you later. I'll see you later. I am around. There's also some kind of tapping in your kitchen. I think it's like the sound that you would hear like tapping on a cabinet. So listen for that sound, and it usually doesn't happen when you're in the same room. They wait till you go in the other room and then you hear it. Don't know why. Alright, he's leaving, and above him are the big letters in red. Says I love you. He wants to make sure you know that, because Right. He feels like he didn't say that enough in real life. So don't forget to say it to other people. Don't wait till you're gone to realize that you didn't say it enough. Alright. Okay, let me know. Let me know if it resonates with you. I don't know if there's a lot of validations in that, but I don't like to do my whole reading full of validations. It's about the message. It's about them getting their I love yous across, or whatever it is they need to say. Much love to you, Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, and oracle card advisor. See you later.